Society teaches us that the American dream, that, the dream life should look a certain way. You meet the person, you meet the love of your life, it's your soulmate, you get married, you have kids, and you're with them for the rest of your life, and that's what happiness looks like. But I feel like, honestly, a lot of people end up suffering trying to follow that path. A lot of people, if they were to truly ask themselves how they feel and what they want out of life, I think that they would approach dating very differently, in the same way a lot of people are waking up to the fact that maybe working a 9-to-5 and climbing the corporate ladder isn't for them. What's good, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a very chill chit chat on dating, monogamy, relationships. I posted a TikTok the other day talking about dating, and a lot of people were commenting, asking me questions. So I thought I'd make a video where I just kind of chat with you guys about my views, mainly because I really want to see if other people feel the same way that I do. Maybe some of this will resonate with you. Maybe you will completely disagree with everything that I have to say. I've been on this kind of journey where I've really had to take a look at my views on dating and relationships and really ask myself, like, okay, the way that I feel about these things, is this actually coming from how I truly feel, or is this what society has taught me about this? Is this the way that, am I really truly, like, when I'm really truly asking myself, what do I want out of life? What do I want out of my relationships? When I'm putting aside the conditioning that I've been taught, what is it that I truly want, and what is it that I truly believe? And I feel like as I've started to kind of ask myself these questions some more, I've started to find that a lot of the things that I feel like I've once been taught about, again, dating, relationships, marriage, are not really how I believe the world should work. And I think specifically I've really had to recognize, more than anything, that, dating, relationships, these things are only really truly stressful if you are committed, or if you're attached to the idea that something good has to last forever. I'm a firm believer in that every relationship that you're in, whether it be platonic or romantic, is an amazing way to learn more about yourself. It's all a lesson in learning to come back to love, learning how to love yourself more deeply, but also learning how to love others unconditionally as well. And I think sometimes when we enter into relationships, we enter in them and we have a really good time, we're having fun, we fall in love, but oftentimes we start getting attached to the idea of someone else out of fear more than we are attached to them out of love, right? We're attached to this idea that just because something is good, just because we're experiencing something with someone, that must continue happening forever, or else that relationship has failed, or else it's a waste of time. But in reality, when you're really being present in an experience, when you're really truly living in the moment and enjoying it for what it is and for what it's teaching you in that phase in your life, you may find that relationships don't have to last forever to be successful. Again, everything that you experience in your life is beneficial to your spiritual growth if you are present in that journey, in that experience, and if you're allowing it to teach you what it needs to teach you in that moment. And so I just really encourage you, if you are maybe struggling with dating and relationships and you feel like you're suffering maybe from heartbreak or whatever, or if you feel like maybe you struggle to let go of relationships, I just really encourage you to remember that people do not have to be in your life forever in order for you to have love for them, and in order for that your experience with that person to be good. When you really let go of the future outcome of things, you actually enjoy them a lot more. Like, you can really truly enjoy the experience for what it is when you're being present in it, instead of being wrapped up in what the future holds. I feel like with any life experience that you have, whether it be, again, relationships, friendships, a job, whatever, a passion, every single journey that you're on, I think the key is to be as present in them as possible. And again, to remember that just because something ends doesn't mean that it's this negative thing. And I feel like for me, especially coming out of my relationship, a lot of people were asking me, like, how did you get over your breakup so quickly? Like, how are you okay? And honestly, I just feel like, I don't know if it's because I've been in a few relationships now, or maybe it's because I have my Venus is in Aquarius, so this definitely does play a role in how I love. But I don't know, I feel like just because a relationship ended doesn't mean that it has failed. Like all of my relationships that I've had, I look back on them and I have such a fondness for the experience, for the person that I was with. I still have so much love for all the people that I've dated and for the relationships that have not worked out. I've only been in like 3 serious relationships in my life, but regardless, I still have love for those people, and I have, again, a fondness for that experience because it served me in that purpose of my life. But I'm in a season of my life right now where it's like I'm not meant to be with someone. Like I don't feel like I'm meant to be in a committed long-term relationship where it's just me and one person, at least in this phase in my life. And again, that could change literally tomorrow. I'm very much driven by passion and emotion. So I'm the kind of person who I may be saying all this stuff right now, in my opinion, can completely change. Maybe I'll be married like this time next year. Who knows? You know what I mean? But like, I just feel like for me with relationships, it's very easy for me to get over them. And it's very easy for me to kind of navigate the dating scene when I'm truly just being present, when I'm really truly allowing things to happen the way they're meant to happen. And I honestly feel like in today's society, a lot of people, if they were to truly ask themselves how they feel and what they want out of life, I think that they would approach dating very differently, in the same way a lot of people are waking up to the fact that maybe working a 9 to 5 and climbing the corporate ladder isn't for them, right? Again, society teaches us that the American dream, that, you know, the dream life should look a certain way. You know, you meet the person, you meet the love of your life, it's your soulmate, you get married, you have kids, and you're with them for the rest of your life, and that's what happiness looks like. But I feel like honestly, a lot of people end up suffering trying to follow that path because it's not really for them. I don't think that path is the only way to experience love. I think a lot of us can have multiple loves in our lives and multiple soulmates and multiple people who, you know, and I'm not saying like go and be in an open relationship and that's how you should live your life. I'm just saying that I think that we should be less committed to a single person and we should be committed more to ourselves. Because I think a lot of times what happens when we're dating is we get so caught up in our ego that we feel like we should own someone. And especially like, I don't know, I see like a lot of like TikToks and like videos online about this where it's like, you know, whatever, like if you're secure, then it's gonna feel like this and blah, 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 blah. But it's like, I feel like a lot of that is so caught up in ego. It's so caught up in this idea that you should almost own another person in order to feel good within yourself, because ego is so identity driven that oftentimes relationships become less about the love that you hold for that person and it becomes more about your identity and that feeling of safety that you get from being with someone long term. Someone being committed to you long term feels safe. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel as if no matter what you're doing, you will always have that home, that safety. But I encourage you to kind of ask yourself, like, what would happen if you had that sense of love within yourself? There's nothing wrong, again, with dating and with having, you know, being a little bit dependent on someone. I think that we all are meant to experience that feeling at some point in our lives, but I don't feel like we need to be attached to one person for the rest of our lives in order to feel loved. I feel like, again, that's almost like a fear-based way of looking at love. And I don't know, I feel like I'm so committed to kind of like finding that love within myself every single day that I feel like I can really truly enjoy the experience of dating people, dating multiple people, having these experiences and just really truly being present in them instead of like obsessing over what the future is gonna hold, and instead of obsessing over that person being my property or that person being, you know, being attached to that person as a part of my identity, if that makes sense. Also, I see a lot of things online about like, you know, you should be looking for this kind of person. If someone's really secure, then they will be acting like this, blah, 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 blah. But in reality, y'all, like, we all have ego. We all have issues. We all have baggage. We all have insecurities. We all have inner children within us that we are all working on healing. So looking for this secure, safe love that looks a certain way is a lot of times not realistic. And I feel like we have to recognize that relationships are teachers for a reason. They allow us to see parts of ourselves that sometimes we don't even like. You are not perfect. You're not going to find someone who's perfect. That's just not the way the world works. And while love and, again, commitment in relationships can feel really good, a lot of times these things are not going to be easy, because again, we're all these wounded people who are not only healing from what happened to us in our childhood. We usually all have some kind of, childhood trauma that we're healing from and working through, but we're also collectively awakening. Like, we're literally all living in a world where we are recognizing that we've all been conditioned to think a certain way, to subscribe to, a way of life within the matrix that a lot of us don't feel aligned to, right? So to expect that dating is supposed to be this easy, secure, simple thing with one person, you're gonna find them and it's just gonna be so easy and simple. Like, I think that that's an amazing way of viewing things. And again, I think that that does make sense for some people, but I think that again, a lot of us end up suffering by trying to subscribe to that one way of looking at romance than we would be if we were to just be present and just enjoy every experience for what it teaches us. Recognize again that every single no one that you meet is going to be perfect. We see these Disney movies, we want our Prince Charming, we want our soulmate, whether it be a heterosexual relationship or not. We all want this idea of love, and I think you can have it, right? If you want that, I'm a firm believer in, like, you can really truly have whatever reality you want. But again, in the same way that I encourage you to really take a look at your views on work and, just life and spirituality in general, I also really encourage you to look at your views on romance, look at your views on dating, and really ask yourself, like, what truly would make you happy? What truly would make you feel fulfilled? And again, being in a safe, committed relationship is amazing. That can make you feel fulfilled in this moment in your life. But just because you're in a relationship right now doesn't mean that has to be the thing that makes you feel fulfilled for the rest of your life. Because you may find that you're in a relationship for a while and, it serves its purpose. It feels really good. You're in love. You're happy. But eventually it gets to a point where it no longer is aligned. And I think there's way more power in recognizing and being able to come back to yourself and recognize when things are not aligned to you. And again, walking in your purpose and finding that love within yourself. There's way more power in doing that and in being present in that experience than there is in trying to hold on to something out of fear of seeing, the person that you like dating someone else, or the fear of losing someone, because it sucks. It's not fun. It's not a fun experience to experience heartbreak. It's not fun to experience relationships ending. Like, trust me, I get it. I'm not saying that you should just be heartless and not be attached to anyone. We're all these loving beings, and when we experience the grief and the loss of a relationship, it's so natural. It's important to experience that. We're actually experiencing those things so that we can remember or remind ourselves that we have a capacity to love. But I think we sometimes get so focused on feeling good when we're experiencing things that we're afraid of experiencing the duality that comes with love. To be able to experience love means that you are also able to experience pain and loss and heartbreak, and it's all a beautiful part of the journey. Every single relationship that I was in, I suffered trying to make the relationship last longer than it was actually meant to be in my life. And it was really just because I was in fear of experiencing the pain of letting them go, to be honest. And so that's why I feel like a lot of times, again, when we're looking at, as we're awakening collectively, as a society, we really have to ask ourselves again, like, what is it that we're really truly afraid of? Are we afraid of being alone? Are we afraid of, not having anyone? Are we afraid of, having to put in the work to maybe even build a community outside of a relationship? Relationships make it very easy for you to feel, loved and taken care of, and it feels like you don't have to do as much work. But maybe what you're in search of right now is not even a relationship. Maybe it's just the love of your community and the people around you. Maybe you need to nurture your platonic relationships a little bit more, or maybe nurture the relationships that you have with your family. And I feel like this kind of seeps into also like my views on like having kids and like marriage, and I can make a whole separate video on that as well if you guys want. But I don't know, I feel like a lot of times we try to look elsewhere to find the love that we really want within ourselves. And I feel like a lot of times, again, don't get me wrong, I've been in so many relationships. I think being in a relationship is so great. There's so many benefits that come from, being in love with someone, being committed to someone, having someone there in your life. I think it's amazing. But again, I feel like if you learn to provide yourself the love that you are seeking from other people a little bit more, if you learn to love yourself unconditionally, these experiences that you're having, again, with friendships, with dating, with whatever, any life experience, you're going to be able to be a lot more present in them. You're going to have a lot more fun with it, and you're going to be less attached to the idea that someone has to come in and save you and make you suddenly life is going to become easier when you meet this one person. You're going to feel a lot happier in the present moment. You're going to feel fulfilled from yourself, and you're going to feel a lot better just knowing that you are all that you ever need. While you have relationships that can add to your life and can be really amazing, you don't need to be attached to someone to feel good. I don't know. It's just something I've struggled with this a lot. Again, I'm still learning a lot of lessons in this area. Like I've been single now for a few months, and I've been dating, and I've experienced I've experienced such intense emotions, being in situationships even more than I was in my long-term relationships. But I honestly feel like despite how intense these things are, I have so much appreciation for them, because again, they're all teaching me how to love myself more deeply. Every single dating experience that I have is teaching me something about myself, and I just love the experience of getting to know people, of having these moments and having these relationships in the same way that I love getting to know people platonically. I just think relationships, falling in love, romance is so amazing, and I think that you should lean into it and embrace it when it does come up for you. But again, don't be afraid to let things go when they reach their limit and when they reach their expiration date too. You will always be able to attract love in your life if you are open to it, and if you allow yourself to, again, just be present in whatever it is that is going on right now. So hopefully it's resonated in some way, you guys. This is a very chill chit chat video. If you guys want me to cover any other topics like this, definitely do let me know in the comments down below. And also let me know what do you guys agree with? What do you guys disagree with? Maybe some things in this video did not resonate with you at all. That's totally okay. I love talking to you guys in the comments and learning from y'all as well. So yeah, let's have a conversation. Hope you're doing well. I hope you guys are having an amazing week. I love you guys so, so much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. I want to thank Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. As you guys know, Squarespace is the one-stop shop for building an online presence. So whether you need help with website templates, marketing tools and analytics, or even blogging features, Squarespace has everything that you may need to get your website up and running. So I'll be sure to leave a link to them down below if you guys want to check them out and get 10% off of your first purchase with them. Thank you again to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video.